Hey guys, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Bitcoin is here to stay, and I see big things in 2025 for Bitcoin. And there are a lot of smart people, way smarter than me and a lot richer than me, thinking that the price of Bitcoin will hit over 200,000 this year. So we're going to go over some of those predictions and the reasoning for that, and why I think there may not be a Bitcoin winter or crypto, let's just say Bitcoin winter for the foreseeable future. Can things change? I think so. So let's get into it, guys. Happy New Year again. I wish prosperity for everybody out there, um, especially if you're in the crypto related assets. I think things will be tremendous for everybody. It'll be great times ahead for us, guys. So if we look at the Bitcoin dominance, currently sits at 56.6%. So still high, and we like that. Current price of Bitcoin at the time of the video is 93,670. 1 hour showing that we're down 0.5%, 24 hours down 1%, basically. For the week, we're down 4.5%. Now, this last few weeks, basically, we have holiday traveling, people out, celebrating with their family and friends, not really focused on crypto and, stocks for that matter. And also, you have people doing some tax movement for, um, you know, paying for taxes next year. So I get it. So there's low volume, a lot of things happening. People aren't really focused, but prepare for a turnaround, especially in January, especially here in the US. We have some big things happening politically. And so that could be a catalyst for things to come. So we'll see. Not to mention, just unrelated to Bitcoin crypto space, the Tether FUD that we heard about, EU delisting, never came to fruition. So things are on an up and up, guys. Just the beginning. Fear and greed, we're still at greed. So people feeling pretty good about the space. We're not bearish at all. If you read some of the things on crypto Twitter, you think it would be, you think Bitcoin's at 60,000 or 50,000. That is just not the case. Now, if we look at total assets worldwide based on market cap, the top ones, gold still number one. And I believe it's just a matter of time before Bitcoin is number two or surpasses gold. Current market cap of Bitcoin's 1.8 trillion. Gold at 17.7 trillion. So if Bitcoin were just to match half of that, the price of Bitcoin, guys, would be skyrocketing. That's why I think DCAing into Bitcoin, I DCA every time I get paid for my job in the Bitcoin, no matter what the price is. I'm like a Michael Saylor, just the poor version. I DCA all the time because I know where the price of this thing is going. And I'm just trying to protect my future, family's future, legacy, and all of that. I think, holding a good amount of Bitcoin is just going to give you the financial freedom that you'll all be looking for. Now, let's look at the price of Bitcoin on New Year's Day. And if we go back just, for 2020, 7,193, 2021, 29,000, 2022, 47,000, 2023, 16,000, 2024, 42,000, and this year, 93.5. Last year, 42,660. This year, guys, 93,500. Not to mention we were at 108 not too long ago. Things are going to get crazy, and I hope you are prepared and in the right assets to enjoy what's coming. Tim Draper, very wealthy guy, VC guy, believes that Bitcoin will hit 250,000. He's updated his time frame, obviously, because we didn't hit that in 2024, but to 2025. And he mentioned all the things, hard asset and all of that. But his take is that now women are getting into Bitcoin. Crypto space predominantly it's male, right? But once you start getting women in a lot of households, women tend to be the people or the gender that's controlling the income coming into the house, doing the accounting and everything like that. Once you get them into Bitcoin, things may change, right? You have a different dynamic about the type of people coming in to crypto, shrewd, obviously, and that could change things. That could really change things. At least that's his opinion. So 250K, he believes will happen, probably even higher according to him. And if you don't think he's worth anything, the guy has net worth of $2 billion. Some of the companies that his investment firm have invested in, something back in the day is Hotmail. Us old folks will know what Hotmail is. Skype, Tesla, SpaceX, Ring, which is a big investment, Twitter, Coinbase, Robinhood, Twitch, you name it. So he knows what he's doing. And also, he purchased an auction of seized Bitcoin from Silk Road. So he's a big Bitcoin holder as well. He's a big maxi. But again, this is not some guy I don't know what he's talking about. He's familiar with assets and appreciation. So pay attention. Next, we have Tom Lee, another guy, very wealthy, smart guy, believes that Bitcoin will hit 250 by this year, right? And some of his reasoning is basically just the regulatory landscape and the adoption of Bitcoin in the world. And, he mentioned that basically here in the US, we've been talking about it. Senator Loomis has proposed a bill, has to be voted on by the House, Senate, and then signed into law by the president. House and Senate controlled by, the sitting president's party affiliation. So it's likely that it may get passed. Very likely that can happen. If that happens, things will go crazy. And if that happens, other nations and other countries will follow as well. Something interesting Loomis said. They were saying, hey, the country's we're already in a lot of debt. Are we going to print more money to buy more Bitcoin for the strategy? And her response was no. Basically, US sitting on a lot of gold purchased from the 1970s. And just the price from 1970s to now, there's a lot of appreciation in those assets. They don't even have to sell all of it, but if they sell a fraction or half of that and move that into Bitcoin, which is what she proposes, you don't have to print no more money. You don't. And if you have an appreciating asset like that, maybe that can help with the debt that, at least here in the US, that we're accruing. And if countries see that, number one. Number two, they're going to start following and say, hey, we can do the same thing. Because all these countries are in the same thing, both on a house of cards, house of debt, and anything they have that can bring that debt down will be helpful. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. I think it's going to be crazy. This year is just going to be bananas, guys. In the first card, it will be once you see that bill proposed, and if the House passes that, game theory, game on. Next, we got Standard Charter. They believe that Bitcoin can hit a price of 200,000 by the end of 2025. So that is interesting. Standard Charter, again, they're into crypto and Bitcoin as well. They just believe everything that I've been saying, basically. Sovereign wealth funds are going to be investing in it, the potential strategic reserve, just all of that. So they're just basing this on institutional adoption, country adoption, not even FOMO, retail FOMO. At this point, they're small players in the game. So we have 250, 250, 200. Then you have Shamath, who's also a VC billionaire, thinks that Bitcoin can hit 500,000. Now, this is a bit aggressive even for me. But again, it's the same things that these other two companies we're talking about and Draper. Just the investments, the adoption, the halving, hard asset, all of that. 500,000, this guy thinks. And he goes, there's an increasing body of countries that will become dual currency. And they will look at their local currency, which is fiat, that is debasing. And then they will look at Bitcoin. And then they will say both of these things are needed. He also stressed that Bitcoin has the possibility of completely replacing gold, starting to become something that has actually utility for hard assets. This, with the dollar debasement worries, make Bitcoin an interesting investment opportunity. And I've been saying this for the longest time. Just today, guys, I went to get some eggs. Granted, they were organic, and they were like 24, I think, eggs. Almost $18 for those eggs. And just the price of everything that I used to go out and get bagels for the family, and that price is almost tripled. Same store, same everything. And then you see the quality of food that restaurants that I used to go to isn't the same because people are cutting corners to keep the prices down. So ingredients, they're using cheaper alternatives or whatever the case may be. Just the price of fiat is just it's debasing, and everything's more expensive, is impacting everything in life. And I think Bitcoin is that thing that everyone needs, not financial advice, just to protect yourselves from this ever-growing inflation and your debasement of whatever your fiat is. I can't stress that enough. I think it's a strong investment tool, and everyone should hold a little bit. And I'm just some guy on the internet saying, but I'm showing you other guys, richer, smarter than me, saying the same thing. So that's where we go. New year, guys, is going to be positive. Hong Kong public listed company I can't pronounce that. Yui Singh buy 72 or 78 Bitcoin for 6.3 million. We also have another company in Japan that we'll end the video with. They've been adopting the MicroStrategy strategy, buying Bitcoin as well. And right now it's the strongest performing company in the Japanese stock exchange. And everybody follows everybody. Once they see MicroStrategy, what they're doing, this other company in Japan, what they're doing, other big companies are going to do the same as well. And I still believe this year, one major company, Fortune 500 company in the US will do the same. Microsoft, I believe it was, had the opportunity to do it in December. They didn't, totally disagree with that. They voted against it. Over 98% voted against it. But the tides will change. It will change. Also, according to Charlie Baeo, if you look at the Bitcoin return since 2010, look at this. In 2010, you would have had almost a $10,000 or 10,000 percentage increase in your investment. That's crazy. But if we go recent, we'll see that in 2024, you would have had a 121% return on investment on Bitcoin. In the year prior, you would have had a 156%. So I can't wait to see what 2025 will yield. I think it's going to be even higher than these two numbers here. Now, if we just look at, history, 2017, 1331, I believe that was bull year. 2013, 5,507%. That's crazy. This year can be one of those ones where, this number, we're going to be out of the hundreds. We're talking about 200, 300% increase. We'll see. I'm here for it. And then if we look at inflation, like I just talked about, everybody is hurting. Whether you're in the US, you're in Africa, Europe, Australia, wherever you're at, things are just not the same. From 2020 to now, just prices of everything is much, much, much higher. And I would say to myself, my family, we do well. Just what about the average American family that isn't doing as well? And they have multiple kids, 4 kids, 5 kids. How are they making it? How? The value of your fiat is going down. Everything's going up. You're either going to have to work another job, extra job, or just cut costs somewhere. Maybe if you're a 2-car, you go to 1 car. It's just crazy. And I really believe that Satoshi came up with this after the financial crisis of 2008 to say that, hey, we got to do something for the middle guy, the little guy. I mean, he needs a life raft, he or she, and we got to change things. The people at the top can't continue to get richer while everyone at the bottom is just struggling to pay bills day to day. Stuck in traffic, rat race forever till 60, 70 years old, still working past retirement age. Something has to change. And I think Bitcoin is that thing. But this is crazy. US, you see the inflation. We look at UK 2.9. It's just, the list goes on and on. And inflation seems to be going back up, especially here in the US. This is where we were. We were trending down in the fall, and now it looks like it's going back up again. Oh boy. And just to talk about that, US credit card defaults soar to highest level in 14 years. Data shows credit card defaults jumped 50% in 2024 from the year before because people are struggling to pay for things from their normal earnings. They have to put things on credit. You put things on credit, then you have an interest rate of 20-something percent. Do you see the cycle? People are defaulting. They can't pay even the minimum amount. And something has to change. Something really has to change. And I think Bitcoin is going to be, that's the life raft that we have, guys. But this is crazy. And this is just showing the US, but I'm sure in other countries it's something similar. So let's end off with this video. This is that Japanese company I was talking about that's employing or adopting the Bitcoin strategy like MicroStrategy. And basically, this is what he said. And he was at the 100K party Michael Saylor threw last night, which is very extravagant. A lot of the big Bitcoin maxis and influencers were there. But let's take a listen to what he had to say.
I'm slowly but surely seeing Bitcoin becoming a topic of discussion at the highest levels of government. Corporations around the world beginning to adopt it as a Bitcoin standard. In April, for us, that's when we decided that we wanted to adopt Bitcoin, and now all we want to do is accumulate more Bitcoin over time for our shareholders. So 2024 will go down as the year where it all began.
The year where it all began, and also...
So guys, if he is doing that, and Michael Saylors of the world and different companies and different pension funds, mom and pop pension funds, they have their companies and they're doing that for their employees, what's the difference? Why shouldn't we do it? Granted, we don't have as much liquidity as they do, what money, but we can still do it. Whether it's 25 bucks, 50 bucks, 100 bucks, whatever it is, whatever you can spare. Just over time, that money will appreciate versus leaving it under your mattress or leaving it in the bank where it will debase. So guys, that's all I have for you. It's New Year's 2025, guys. We have nothing but big things ahead. I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. Thank you for spending your time with me. And until next time, later.